Hey, what's up, webinar people? Give me 3 seconds here. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's Dr. Memo from drmemogamboa.com here in my home office in the Chicagoland area. It's Sunday afternoon here in the Chicagoland area, and it's a beautiful day out. It's about 70 degrees. And we are going to go over the entrepreneurial roller coaster ride. I took a course a while back given by Harbert, actually, and he had 5 awesome modules. One of them modules was taught by Grossman, and she just was basically going over the journey, what it is to be like an entrepreneur. And I took a lot of notes, and I went through it, I think, for the 3rd time now. And every time I go through, I get more notes, and see, that's like me highlighting and going through a 2nd time, and then like me writing on the side, going through a 3rd time. So I'll try to give you as much as little tidbits as I can, and hopefully I can read my scribble and not babble around too much. All right. So in case you don't know who I am, my name is Guillermo Gamboa. I'm an optometrist by day and a marketer, internet marketer by night, as well as a network marketer. And so glad you're here. If you're seeing me on Facebook Live, please share, give me a couple likes. That'd be awesome. And if you're seeing this in the webinar, well, I appreciate you. I really do. All right. So I am in my home. I have 3 children. Their mom is out right now, so there is a chance you will hear some running children in the background. It's also a residential area of town, so someone might start cutting their grass. You might hear dogs barking. If that stuff bothers you because you get distracted easily, then you're in the wrong place. So and that's fine. You can watch the replay at your own leisure if I put one up. All right. So anyway, the roller coaster ride. So again, this course was taught by Harbert, which I really love the course. And I don't think he has it for sale on his sales page, but it's called the Entrepreneurial Journey, and it was like 5 modules with some bonus modules. Mark, if you ever see this, can you please put that for sale on your sales page? Thanks. So this is module number 3, actually, and I've only covered one other one on previous webinars and lives. But this one's called the Roller Coaster Ride. It's with Lisa Grossman, and she covers so much content in she packs in an hour and a half so much knowledge. It is so hard to keep up. I just want to keep listening to it and rewriting my notes. And but we're just going to get started with what she said. If success is a cake, is what she said. And wherever you're joining me from, I'd love to know. If you're on Facebook Live, let me know where you're joining me from. If you've got any comments in the webinar, go ahead and put the comments in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. But if success is 6 pieces, or 6, like a cake, 6 parts of a cake. If there's 6 parts of a cake in the cake of success, 5.5 of them is what you think, and the other half part is how to do, right? So tons of us, including myself, especially in the beginning, we're always like, what do I do? Tell me what to do, exactly what to do. There's got to be, a lot of us have the engineer mindset, or in my case, the science mindset, the optometric mindset. It's like, okay, do this, ask this question, then you get this result. And from that result, you do the next thing, right? So we connect, and we do it in this order. You connect here to here to here to that. And so the how-to seems like what you need in order to succeed, right? Because that's how we're taught, that's how we're programmed. But it's really the other. It's not. It's the what you think, so the way she liked to put it is, people that know how end up working for those that know why. So this is about vision, all right, guys? This is about your mission, right? Because you could find info on how to do anything. Is not anything. It is not difficult, right? You can find how to fix your toilet. You can find how to fix your car. You can find how-tos everywhere. You can find how to advertise on Facebook, how to advertise on YouTube. You could how to talk to network marketers, how to build a network marketing team. There's thousands of blog posts on that, thousands and thousands of articles, okay? So why aren't more people successful, right? It's because they're focusing on the wrong thing. Let's see. How to is not a big deal. Go and you got to go the opposite of the masses. Everybody wants how to. You got to go the other way. You want to be able to, manage your beliefs is one thing, and manage your expectations. So the belief system is really important. So, this cup right here, she kind of gives this example with the water bowl. This cup is half full in my case. But for you, maybe it's half empty, right? The thing is, those are both facts, right? it's a fact that this cup is half empty. It's a fact that this cup is half full. But which one serves you better? Which one's going to get you farther? You know, it's a fact that that you might run a Facebook ad and it won't work, and it didn't work. That's a fact. But what did you learn from it, right? So let's see. So the other thing she wanted to point out, as an entrepreneur, you got to manage your expectations, right? So your expectations, a lot of times, is, I think, especially network marketing, people have crazy expectations as to what's supposed to happen in the next like 6 months, right? It might be network marketers' fault when they get that new person in and like hyping it up too much, but you do have to manage your own expectations and other people's expectations. So the other thing as an entrepreneur is you have to know that it sometimes will be lonely, she said, and difficult. So you got to trust yourself, you know. That's why it's important to have that belief system, right? If you don't have the belief system, you can't really trust what you're doing because you're too scared, too fearful. Let's see. And then she kind of said a good tip for those who are successful is they spend time doing things only they can do, right? They focus on their strengths and the things that they have to be there to do that. So like, let's say somebody comes asking you, so what's the comp plan? You don't have to explain that. That's not like a strength that you have to explain, right? You can send people to a video for that, or somebody else can explain that. Now your story, that you have to be there to tell, right? And that's important. So only focus on the things that you can do. Everything else you can kind of like outsource in a form or fashion, right? So let's see. So the tip she gave is your experience is what matters, i.e. your story. Let's see. So then somebody asked the question, you know, a lot of people quit. A lot of people, before they even really get going, they end up leaving the profession, right? The network marketing profession. And the first thing she said is, well, let me clue you in on something. You're going to suck at first. You're going to be very good at it. That's just the way it goes. That's how it works, you know? So Malcolm Gladwell, who's written a couple of books, I think one of them is The Tipping Point. The other one is Outliers, I think. I'm not sure, okay? But he did a study, you know, and it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft. So if you want to become good be masterful at something, you got to do 10,000 hours. You want to be a masterful cook, 10,000 hours of cooking. You want to be masterful at network marketing, 10,000 hours, okay? But it only takes 20 hours. This is the thing. It only takes 20 hours of doing something to be competent, okay? And in a previous training I talked about, you only got to be a step ahead. You don't got to be a whole slew ahead of your audience. You got to be a step ahead. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie, Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. It's about this gentleman who basically faked his way through all kinds of stuff and getting paid for it. So at one point, he taught a year of, I believe, of sociology at Brigham Young. And no degree, no nothing, but he taught a year. Basically, he got there, no professor was there, and he picked up the book and started teaching. And so when they finally caught him, because he was basically doing fraud all over the place, how were you able to teach, you know, a year of sociology at Brigham Young? He's like, I just read a chapter ahead. You know, so in other words, he was just one chapter ahead of the class. So by being a chapter ahead of the class, you can become a teacher, right? So it just depends, you know, you just have to build your proper audience, and the audience will come as you go along. So, okay, so remember I talked about your looking stupid at first, you know, and this is the problem with that, you know. First off, your friends and family are trying to help you. So she did say they love you, they're trying to help you. They don't want you to go through what they think is like a bad situation, right? So they're trying to keep you from it. My mom's always like in protective mode, so I could be like, I think I'm gonna go bike riding today. I'm not very good at riding a bike. She knows that, and she would be like, "No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's probably dangerous, you know." So I'm like, "Mom, but it's good for my heart. It's good for my exercise." No. You'll probably end up in a ditch somewhere. You know? So people are who love you are always trying to protect you, unbeknownst to them, probably making it harder for you to move on. But okay, so here's a tip. You will look stupid in the beginning, but mostly to yourself. So whatever you're trying to do, you're gonna look dumb, right? But mostly to yourself, because you're really the only one who cares. So most people don't really care what you look like. You know, you care what people think about you. But honestly, like, I've never say never, but I very, very rarely have I ever looked at a video or somebody doing network marketing or internet marketing and thought, wow, you're an idiot. You know, I can't recall ever even thinking that, you know. So don't worry about it. You know, I'm sure some people, you know, in their head like, wow, you're an idiot right now, you know, and I don't care. So, and this is the thing. So, and remember those 20 hours to be competent. Well, in the first 4 to 5 hours of like doing a thing, you know, like let's say you're trying to learn presentations, right? And you're doing a presentation. You need 20 hours of presentation. Let's see, every presentation takes an hour, right? So you need to do about 20 of them before you get kind of competent at it. You know, first one's going to suck. 10 one's going to be pretty better than the first one. Still probably not going to be that great. 20th one is going to be pretty good, you know, and then so on. The problem is most people quit after 4 to 5 hours. So that's 4 or 5 presentations. Nobody showed up. They're not very good at presenting. They're not closing anybody, and they quit. Okay, but they still got to live, right? So then they join something else or do something else, and then they go through it again. Let me try this presentation, and looking for something outside themselves to succeed, right? So they another 4 or 5 hours of it of presenting, still not great results. They quit again. Then they go do something else, and so they actually perpetuate the process of constantly quitting and restarting, and putting themselves in that misery. You understand? Like, so they're in that black hole of like, I'm not very good. Let me try something else. I'm not very good at this. Let me try something else. And they just keep repeating that process of being in a spot where they have not become competent at anything, right? And I did that in the beginning. You know, I'm like, oh, let me try YouTube ads. You know, oh, let me try Facebook ads. Oh, let me try not doing ads at all. You know, and I'm always perpetuating like being, you know, unconsciously incompetent, as she liked to put it, you know. And so there's kind of like 4 phases, you know, at stuff. You're going to become unconsciously incompetent. So the example she used was like she's going to bring in the best bikers in the world, right? Lance Armstrong and his team. We're going to have seminars on how to ride a bike, okay? And we're going to show videos, and you're going to read this book, and there's going to be an exam, and then after the exam, we're going to go outside. I'm going to bring you these best bikes we got. And as soon as everybody gets on the bike, the first thing that's going to happen, because they're special bikes, is they're going to fall on their face, no matter what, even though they went through all this, you know, because that's called being unconsciously incompetent, you know. And then eventually you become consciously incompetent, and you're trying to figure it out, right? And then you become consciously competent, like, okay, I'm pretty good at this, you know, I'm good, I'm going. But then you're going to become unconsciously competent. That's when you actually are able to do something without actually thinking about what you're doing. It just seems like the bike is riding itself, so to speak, right? So those are the 4 phases, and you got to get there. I think there were 4 phases. Maybe I said that right. I don't know. People most afraid of pain spend the most time in it. Yeah, she said this. So the people who are most afraid of looking dumb and being dumb and are afraid of pain, they spend the most time in it because they quit and restart. And sorry, guys. Let's see. So the other thing she said, you know, the thing about if you're an entrepreneur, you got to know you're different. We talked about this, you know, and you have to realize that you're different from other people, you know, and you're always going to have, you can try to change your circles a lot, but sometimes the circle's hard to change, and you're going to have some negative people in there, and you're going to realize that you're different, and that's okay. Be different. It's good to be different. And, you know, and you have to give yourself permission to succeed. So a lot of times people, you know, they self-sabotage because success is almost as scary as not being successful, whatever that is for you. And what I mean by that is like, you know, what gives me the right to make, you know, $1 million a year when nobody else in my family has? What gives me the right to be that successful, quote unquote? What gives me the right to be able to travel the world whenever I want? What gives me the right to be able to give as much as I want whenever I want? You know, and it's almost like a guilty thing, right? And people unconsciously, I think, self-sabotage themselves. So you get permission to be successful. I'll give you permission right now. Go rock it out. Anyway, let's see. So she just kind of said, you can't fail if you don't quit. So if you kind of keep taking steps forward, I talked about this before, eventually you will get there. You know, it may take you 1 year. It may take me 10. It may take Joe Smith 20, but you will get there. Remember that you always keep the knowledge as you go along. So the other thing she said is you can't succeed if you don't start. So you can't fail if you don't quit. You can't succeed if you don't start. So you got to get started, right? You got to get started and just get the ball rolling, right? You always keep the knowledge on the path, all right? So it's not really fail, fail, fail. A lot of people talk about like, oh, I failed for 10 years, then I became successful, And that's the other thing. So overnight success, at least 10 years. But people are always like, oh, I failed in network marketing for 10 years before I finally made $1, And now I make 6 figures per month, Well, they didn't fail for 10 years. They learned. They learned for 10 years. They learned, and then succeeded. That's how she put it, and she's right. You learn, then succeed. That's the way it goes. Okay. Let's see. So the most successful do this. They're problem solvers, number 1. And number 2, they anticipate people's needs, okay? They make life more convenient for people. So you have to realize that you want to focus on the vision of what you are creating. So what's your vision? We talk about the vision and the mission all the time. What's your vision for what you're creating? Why do you want to be successful, quote unquote, right? Why do you want to be successful? Think about it. Ask yourself, why do you want to be successful? And then, break it down, and we'll get to that question asking stuff in a minute. So you want to make sure, because you want to make sure you love the end result, because like Mark Harbert, he chimed in, he said, he's known as the video marketer, right? And it's not that he loves making videos. It's not that he loves making videos. It's that he loves what videos do for him. They get him closer to his end result, to whatever impact or vision he has for his life. They get him closer to that. And so what is your vision? What kind of impact do you want to make? And keep that end result in mind, and it'll keep you moving forward. And you realize you do the things that you have to do to get to that vision. Right? I talk fast. All right. Anyway. So then she got into another subject, which is asking better questions, okay? And then she skipped around because they started talking. But she just wanted to point out that you always should be learning, right? You're always a student and always a teacher. ILT, she talked about the Ray Higdon method, invest, learn, teach, and that you really know something when you can teach someone else to teach it, okay? So teach to teach so you can go to the beach, right? That's another saying. So teach people to teach so you can go to the beach. I think that's the way it goes. But basically, if you can, so in other words, let's say you have a 1,000-person team. You can't be the only teacher on the team. You'll go crazy, You need to teach your leaders to be able to teach. And once you do that, that's where it really comes in, Let's see. So here we go. Ask better questions, but she likes to call it ask the next question. So a lot of people ask poor questions like, oh man, why does this always happen to me? And what happens is your mind is a problem-solving computer, right? And it's going to come up with a story to figure out why this always happens to you. Well, because you suck, and that's not what you want. So you need to ask better questions, like what did I learn from this situation? How can I do it better next time? Those are better questions. And so you got to ask yourself better questions. The mind will find answers even to the bad questions, all right? It builds a story that doesn't serve you because the mind is there to solve problems. Be specific with your questions, she said. And the other problem people have is they overwhelm themselves with 100 questions before they even get started. Okay, so how do I get my username? And what password should I use? And when I get into the back office, what should I do? What's the first thing I should do? Okay, after I do that, what do I do? So they start going crazy and overwhelm themselves basically with all these questions. But you want to be specific with your questions, okay? Let's see. Vivid pictures in your head. So if you create vivid pictures in your head of what you really want, your body reacts the same whether real or not. So if you can create if you know exactly what you want and you get that picture in your head when you ask more questions to yourself, proper questions, more specific questions, you get a more vivid picture in your head of what you really want, then your mind will start to get answers for that, right? And start to visualize it. Let's see. She says, let's see. So she's like, a lot of people will say, well, I want to be successful. Well, what does that look like? Do you even know what that looks like? What does money do for you? Paying the bills is a good goal, but it's not really like a great motivator, right? So you want what the money does for you, right? And what exactly is that, right? And just remember that mistakes are opportunities to improve. And that's actually, your mistakes are where the skills are really formed, right? So if you're getting good skills, that's where the skills are really formed. Okay. Let's see. And she says what you want to do is basically plan, do, review, and back around. Plan, do, review, plan, do, review, plan, do, review. And you keep at it till you get competent and then eventually, hopefully, masterful, And go easy on yourself. There is no such thing as perfect, right? And perfect is the mother of procrastination, okay? Now, in her opinion, you should probably start your business, your online or your network marketing business, part-time. And Ray Higdon says this too. If you can't build your business part-time, you're not going to build it full-time. That's what he says. So she too says that you should start at part-time. Hey, what's up, Julio? You should start at part-time. So she says people, in the beginning, some of them, they don't want to just stay part-time. They want to kind of hit once they feel the love of network marketing, they want to go full-time. But she says, what up? But she says, you should really start part-time, and because you don't want it to be your only source of income, right? Because that puts a lot of pressure. That puts more pressure on you to succeed, and your expectations are a little whacked out, And the other reason is because, if you come out of college and you're making a certain amount of money, you can already, you're used to envisioning yourself making that much. So a lot of us would be happy if we were making, $50,000 a year coming out of college, right? That's good. And a lot of us would be really happy if you're making $50,000 residual in your network marketing company, right? So, but if you're already making $50,000 with something else outside of network marketing, you can envision yourself making $50,000, right? But if you have no money coming in, it's hard to envision yourself making more than what you currently are making, So she's like, I eventually got to, higher amounts, but in the beginning, it took me a long time. For 2 years, she didn't make any money, she said. And then it took her a long time to get to where eventually she was making $200 and something thousand a year, right? And she said the only reason I was able to get there is because I had no problem envisioning it, because I was making that outside of network marketing already with her career, okay? So, and she says, in the end, what happens is you get what you picture. So a lot of people, they're always trying to figure out the how-tos. We talked about that, right? Like how to do this, how to do that. And but you get what you can envision. You get what you can picture. So if you can picture yourself successful, that's actually more important. It's hard sometimes, but you got to try to do it. Quiet the mind and envision yourself doing and being the person you need to be, right? So it's the be, do, have. So people, you got to be the person that you want to be. You got to be that person now. Does that make sense? So, and do the things that person would be doing now. And then you can have the things that you want, right? That you want and or need. A lot of people like, oh, when I have this, I'll do this so I can be that person, right? It's not that. You got to be that person, do the thing that you need to be doing, and then you can have the stuff, all right? Let's see. She did say that you want to... So she talked about creating a lot of pressure, so it creates a lot of pressure when it's your only source of income. Thanks for the likes, Julio. But if you can, part-time, tell somebody, look, this is not going to interfere with what you're doing, but if I can show you how to build a good amount of secondary income in 2 years with network marketing, doesn't that sound awesome? I mean, I think it's awesome, right? So that's how she did it. And then she asked, so we get what we picture, think bigger, faster. That's another tip, So you want to try to get to thinking bigger, faster. That was her mistake, she said. And everybody says that Holton Buggs, which is one of the top network marketers, if not the top network marketer out there, active network marketer, he said that too. If he can go back and do it all over again, he would think bigger, faster, right? So many of us, me too, man. I write goals and I'm just like, well, I just want to make, $5,000 a month. And that's probably not a big, it's just not big enough. You got to think a little bigger, but you got to envision it too, right? You got to practice that vision. Then she said, when you go start doing all this stuff, you want to marry the process, but divorce the result. So if you have no agenda, things are better, right? So I think in the last training I talked about commission breath. You don't want to have commission breath. So you don't want to have an agenda. Because you can't control others. All you can control is how many times you put the information in front of people, right? All I can control is like how many videos I want to shoot, how many times I can reach out to somebody and say, hey, you want to take a look at this video, right? Or whatever your opportunity is. That's all you can control. And that's really all you should worry about is what you can do. And then if they don't want to see it, they don't like it, that's them. You can't control that. Convincing doesn't work. That's one thing I got to say. Let's see. So I went over that, and then, all right, so she said you got to learn, and the way all this works is you want to ask the next question, ask the better question. So she threw a bunch of questions out at us, and, just to get us thinking. So I'm going to do the same thing to you, okay? So she just basically, how do we get control of ourselves, right? That was one question. How do we learn to manage our emotions better? How do we learn to choose better beliefs for ourselves? How do we learn to look at things in different ways? What kind of attitude are you approaching the world with, right? So you got to ask these things. Are you part of communities people want to be around? Are you someone people want to be around? You can't make a decision for someone else. All you can control is how many people you get the information in front of. I talked about that. Are you part of communities that make you better, right? And that's whether it's online or offline. Okay, I'm just talking about like Facebook groups everywhere. Are you creating communities people want to be a part of? All right. So, and here's the big one. I want you to listen to this. And if you're watching this, please pay attention. It is never about the product that we sell, even when we are the product. Okay. It is never about the product that we sell, even when we, i.e. you, are the product, right? It's always about people's experience with the product or the brand, especially today, okay? I'm going to say it again. It's never about the product that we sell, even when we are the product. It's always about people's experiences with the product or the brand, especially today. And I'm going to continue on that a little bit here. So I know I talk fast, but you could always watch the replay on YouTube when I put it out there. Because there is no product out there that does something that some other product doesn't do. And it's true. There's sometimes that I'm like, oh wow, that's new. Like when the chatbots came out, like wow, that's cool, that's new, and I haven't learned that stuff yet. It's my mission next week. When the chatbots come out for messenger ads, right? I was like, oh, I got to learn that, And then they were like, and when I started looking stuff up, there's like a bunch of chatbots, not just one. I thought it was just many chat, but there's more. So let's see. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we say that all the time, right? So she kind of gave some examples, right? For example, Apple was never ID'd as the biggest music company or anything like that. Yet it's got the most. Its music store is the biggest music store out there, right? It never even reached the top 10 in computer, which is what it was trying to ID itself at, right? But the reason Apple is so popular is because they're always about the consumer experience. The customer is king. So they're all about the experience, right? And they think that they do things to make people feel special. I mean, if you ever talk to someone who has a Mac or Apple product, they just stick with that product no matter what. They don't and they preach about it. They're like the #1 sales force for Apple, right? They oh my God, you got to get a Mac, and they're like a cult. All right, let's see. And then so most people, unfortunately, they're always asking what's in it for them, and that's why people, they don't respond to that, So just ask yourself these questions. Remember, we asked about asking yourself better questions. Do you like to sell? Probably not, right? Do you like to be sold to? Probably not. Do you like to shop? Yeah. Do you like to buy? Yeah. People like to buy stuff. So why aren't people buying your stuff? And because you're probably always trying to sell to them because you're trying to figure out how to make money off them, right? That's how they feel. And let's see. Okay, so one thing she tried to point out is just like, remember that people are going through stuff. People are going through life and they're maxed out. They're up to here with their life, right? And so she said this: people have no room for your offer because their bucket is full. They believe they are taking care of everybody and nobody cares about them, right? So if you can show that you care, if you can show that you are putting time and effort to help them succeed no matter what, you're going to become successful, right? Because let's say they don't join your opportunity or they're doing something else, but you were there to support and show that you cared and you were their best cheerleader, like, "Ooh, man, I'm happy for you." When the time comes, they'll come back to you and say, "You know what, this thing didn't work out. Can I be on your team?" Right? So you want to be that support person, right? You want to be Holton Buggs one time said, "You can't out-friend me." And it was in one of the Eric Worre's events. And he was like, "You can't out-friend me. You guys," and look, none of you are writing this down. That's what he said. All of you wrote down everything I just said. I called this person and made them come at 11:30, and you guys can get in now before this other group gets here, and then they're going to get in. If you get in first, they'll be under you, and he had this strategy, right? And he goes, but that really wasn't the key to his success. The key to his success was you can't out-friend him, And so in other words, he was always there for his people. And you got to learn to be there too. All right. So imagine how you would feel if people were really interested in what you were doing and who you are, right? It would feel good, right? So that's what you have. That's how you have to reach people. Okay. So whenever you're doing your marketing, like let's say you have an email list, which you should, you always want to market to one person or talk to one person, right? Because you want to reach them on a human level. And you should do that no matter what. You want to be a human first, right? Be a marketer second. Be a network marketer second. Always a human first, okay? Let's see. So because people are going through that daily grind, they got kids, they got to worry about their kids. They got to worry about their spouse. They got to worry about the in-laws coming over. It's holiday season. I got to make some money in order to pay for some presents and this and that. They don't got time for your stuff. They don't got time for your opportunity. Even if your opportunity is the greatest opportunity on earth and it could probably save their life and fix all that, as far as they're concerned, nobody cares about them. You don't care about them. So you have to show that you care first, and you do that by not having commission breath, and keeping their best interest in mind. Let's see. Imagine how you want to. I said that already. I think we're almost done, but I have a couple things I want to go over with you. She said, you want to seek first to understand, not be understood. So again, that comes to like getting to know your prospect, right? And then setting expectations, but try to understand where they're coming from, understand what they need, and try to fill the need. I always talk about that, fill the need. So what, in conclusion here, what you do doesn't matter. Why you do it does. Let's see. What, which is network marketing, you do doesn't matter. Why you do it does. So it's that vision again. That why to make you cry. And you could change the world one person at a time. Your why. So many people, I think we try to do so much so quickly, and it's sometimes you'll overwhelm yourself, and that's why people quit. So I do like this little. Let me get to that. I'm gonna finish with that because I really like this little thing I wrote on the side here that she said. Let's see. So these are some of the more questions. How do you stand out when you are supposed to fit in, right? So here we are. For me in the online marketing space, how do I stand out when I'm trying to fit in as well? It's a good question. So you're out there in network marketing, and your company is telling you to do this and that. So there are thousands of people doing that. How can you stand out? How can you be different? One of them, I'm telling you right now, is caring about the people, and not the result. caring about filling their need, and caring about what what's best for them in the moment. And now, if you believe in your product and all that, and your opportunity, that might be what's best for them, but maybe not in the moment, right? And so seek first to understand. Yeah. Let's see. What is most important to you, and what is the simplest way to put it out there? So find out what's important to you, tell your story, and put it out there in your tribal form. I'm telling you. Let's see. Put it in play, you will feel better. Oh yeah. So anytime you feel like doing something, she's saying, you want to put it out there, So you want to put it out there, because if you don't, you start to feel bad. You second guess it, right? So oftentimes I tell my wife, I want to make a video or whatnot, and then I lose the idea, and then I don't put it out there. I'm like, oh, I don't stay in that little misery point for very long, but I'm like, oh man, I didn't put the video out there, and now I can't really remember exactly what the topic was. It was in the top of my head, right? So put it out there. Put it out there what you really want. Put your story out there. Tell people. Take them on a journey with you. Especially if you're just starting out, or maybe you're just not having the success. Take them on a journey with you. Tell them about your struggles. People, they like authenticity, especially nowadays in this day where Facebook is like a fluff reel. My life is perfect. I don't know about you, but mine is. And just look at my Facebook. So obviously not true. We all know life is not perfect, and things happen, and you have to overcome them, and you take them through the journey of your entrepreneurship. And if you're in network marketing, even part-time, or some sort of home business, small business, even part-time, you're an entrepreneur. I think Gary Vee recently came out with a video like, if you have a full-time job, you're not an entrepreneur. Well, yes, you are. Because you're still taking risks, and you're still putting yourself out there. You're still doing things that entrepreneurs do, whether they're full-time or part-time. And, like Lisa said, you can do it part-time, but it should be serious, right? You should be serious and really go after it in that moment, So I don't know how much hours you can put in, but those hours should be focused, right? So I wanted to end with this. And how long do we go? Good. I want to keep these under an hour. So I'm trying to go in an hour. So let me see if I can read my writing. So basic principle of marketing. Okay, here we go. Basic principle of marketing, i.e. network marketing, right? If you can move product, you will make money, right? And really in the beginning, that's what you should do. Sell your product. Don't worry about recruiting so much in the beginning. Your product users will become your recruits eventually. Because why wouldn't they want the discount? So, move your product, okay? And then number 2, teach people to move the product. Once you do that, you'll make more money, right? Teach them to move the product, you will make more money. And then, so if you move product, you will make money. Teach people to move product, you'll make even more money. But if you move people, you'll make millions. That's what she said. Right? So, and obviously there's double meaning there. Move people, you will make millions. All right, that's it. That's how I wanted to end. Okay, so this is all about the roller coaster ride, and realize, I think one of the most important things is ask better questions so you can be self-aware of your thoughts, right? Ask better questions of yourself, not woe is me questions, but productive questions. How can I get better at this? And then also ask yourself, why do you want to be successful? Why? And then, why do you want to make more money? What is the purpose of that money, of that cash flow? I mean, is it just so you can go on the beach and chill out? If it is, great. If that's your vision of you, chilling at the beach with a margarita at your side, I mean, it doesn't sound bad to me, So, but is that enough? Is that enough to get you, to go through the fire? That's really what it's about, because you will have to go through the fire, and if you want to get there. So, so ask better questions, and then 2, realize that in the beginning, no matter what it is, you're gonna mess up. you know, and you're gonna have learning experiences, and you just have to push through, you know. So don't quit, keep at it, ask better questions, care about people, be human first, and you'll go a little further, you know. As long as you're growing, you're doing okay. Like I said, it might take you a little longer than another person. It might take me 15 years, 10 years. I don't know how long it's going to take to really get to where you want to be, but picture what you want, picture it in your mind, and your body will start to figure out, and your mind will start to figure out the answers for that. So ask better questions, because that's how you get the answers, right? So if you keep asking questions like, oh, why doesn't my computer work? You know, that's a waste of time, you know. But how can I get better at putting myself out there? How can I get better at making videos? How can I tell my story to more people? How can I, just better questions, I mean, I'm not Lisa Grossman, but ask better questions, you'll get better answers, right? And I think Tony Robbins says that too. So anyway, I hope this is helpful for you. If you've seen this on Facebook Live, I'd love for you to share it and hit the likes for me. As far as you guys in the webinar, I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys again. You know what? Next week, I'm probably not going to do one of these because don't tell anybody, but we're going to go to a water park, right? So just weather permitting, right? So peace out. Love you. And I will talk to you soon. Let's see. Who's requesting? Oh. Melda. Melly. I'll talk to you at home, Melly.